I wanted to start the video with some information which can make a difference when dealing with the current state of YouTube and the FTC's ruling on the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. There's currently an online petition on change.org, and as I speak, it's nearing 600,000 signatures. Please go there and sign this petition if you feel that content creators who make family-friendly content, which include geek-related content, video games, adult toy collecting, and other amazing channels, are important to us. I know it can sometimes feel like no one's listening to these petitions, but this does make a difference. Secondly to this, and actually more important all around, is the open call to the public by the Federal Trade Commission themselves for comment on the COPPA rule review. This is a direct call to the public from the FTC for people to give their own thoughts, and this is the best way to get your message to the FTC directly and comment on their decisions about how they're handling the YouTube situation. Also, it's an opportunity to stress to the FTC why family-friendly content is important on YouTube, while also letting the FTC know that channels featuring geek-related topics are generally not aimed at children. This is our chance to speak out about what this will do to the geek community, and it's paramount that we make our voices heard. Thank you, everyone, and on to the video.
Hey guys, it's Jay here, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who you guys have seen who's been talking about this. I think that everyone's talking about it now, but it's important for us to keep talking about this. I'm not usually somebody who talks about serious issues. I try my best to just, have fun with this channel. I really enjoy talking to you guys and recalling all of the memories I have from the past. And, the toys that I love, the cartoons that I really enjoy. But, recently it's come to my attention, and pretty much I think everyone's attention on YouTube, that could be in jeopardy now. So for those of you who don't know what's going on, which surprises me, but it is possible. Recently, YouTube has had a settlement with the Federal Trade Commission down in the United States, and they were accused of selling sensitive data from children's information. And I'm not going to get too much into the specifics, but basically they were sued for a certain amount of money, and I believe they settled out of court for another certain amount of money, a couple of $100 million, I think. And because of that, there have been repercussions. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has mandated that, from what I understand, that YouTube will now be watched over carefully for the next somewhere upwards of 10 years. And this is something where, it's important. Keeping children's privacy is very important. This has to do with a law that was enacted about 10 or so years ago called COPPA, which is COPPA, and I believe that stands for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I believe that is the approximation of it. And this is important. It is an important law. Protecting children's privacy is very important. There are a lot of predators out there, people who will take advantage of children's privacy. Surfing on websites is very dangerous for some kids. It's very important to uphold this law. But I'm rambling a little bit, sorry about that. It's just I'm gathering my thoughts. So because of this, YouTube has taken steps so that they won't be liable, from my understanding, in the future. And one of those steps from now on is that YouTubers will have to declare whether or not they are creating content for children specifically. This is something of a big deal. Because, for example, if you have a channel like mine, which covers the nostalgia of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and, talks about cartoons the way I do, that from my memory, like COPPA, right? Which is, I don't think any kids today know what COPPA is. Dr. Snuggles, people it's such a vague memory. People don't really talk about it too much, and I really wanted to talk about that. You know, Rocket Robin Hood, Force 5, you know, Star Avengers, Battle of the Planets, you know, Kimba the White Lion, He-Man, She-Ra, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, all these cartoons, which I guess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is back, you know, in people's minds again. But for the most part, many of the cartoons which I mentioned are not things people are really talking about. Okay, He-Man and She-Ra, yeah, they're coming back. All this nostalgia is coming back, and it's great. You know, it is great, and I really want to talk about those things. But unfortunately, because of this situation that's happened now with YouTube, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to do that. Things are moving very quickly right now in the YouTube space. There's just so many things which are happening, whether it's, you know, certain laws which are being enacted, YouTube policies which seem to be, for good, for better or for worse, you know, making it harder for content creators to do what they love to do. But getting back to the COPPA thing, the reason this is so important, and it affects a lot of us in the nostalgia community and the retro community, is that if you don't, or if you do, actually, it's kind of a two-way street. But if you do produce content, which, even if it's something which you are not intending for it to be aimed at children, but it does have a connotation of attracting children, the Federal Trade Commission is going to come January 1st, 2020, and they're going to decide whether or not your videos are aimed at kids. And if you are not compliant with stating that this video is meant for kids, they can fine you up to $42,000 per video. That's not a small number. $42,000 per video is a lot of money. And it's one of these things which people have been sticking on. Like, it's the sticking point that everyone keeps talking about. This all started about 2 or 3 weeks ago, when someone from the Federal Trade Commission did a press conference and, you know, went about the entire idea of what it was that they were looking to, you know, do with YouTube and creators and all this stuff. And one of the things he said was that content creators are liable, and they are accountable. And if anyone is found in violation of COPPA, they can be charged up to $42,000. And that's a number which we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I think the more important thing here to discuss really is that, what does it mean for my channel, and what does it mean for channels, you know, who do the kind of things and love the kind of things that I do. I follow a lot of different cartoon and toy channels. One of my all-time favorite channels is, of course, Pixel Dan, who's been a great champion of, you know, nostalgia with toys. I've been following him since Retroware TV, when he was, you know, covering video game related toys. I love his segments on, you know, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are some of my all-time favorite reviews of his. I follow people like, you know, the Happy Console Gamer, and a lot of people haven't been talking about this, but there's huge implications for video game related channels as well. The fact that if you cover anything with Nintendo, even the name Nintendo possibly could be construed as something which is aimed at kids. This is a scary situation we're living in, and a lot of people just are not realizing just how, you know, serious this is. And what I'm trying to do with this video is, you know, for the small audience that I have, I'm just trying to implore to everybody that, you know, spread the word about this, because more people need to be talking about what's happening in regards to COPPA and regards to the FTC. So I watch all these channels, and everybody's been talking about COPPA. You know, the Freaking Geek, you know, Shartimus Prime, you know, Laura Legends, you know, all these great channels that I've been fortunate enough to find and watch and learn more about toys that I love and the nostalgia that I love. You know, we're all sort of freaking out right now. It's just a scary, unknown situation. The reason it's so scary is because the language that is being used, you know, by YouTube and by the FTC is so ambiguous. It's just, it's so vague, sorry. It really is just very, very vague language. You know, just as an example, because I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but when the FTC and YouTube are going to start looking into the validity of your claim that a video is meant for kids or is not meant for kids, they're going to be looking at several factors. Some of them, again, the way it's worded is so vague. For example, you know, the language that you use in your videos. And one of the examples of language is cool. I mean, everybody says cool. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think that if I say cool in my video, it could possibly be construed to thinking that this is aimed at kids. Another aspect of it is whether or not there are child actors in the video itself. Now that's a little bit more specific, and I understand that probably aimed towards a lot of the channels who have their, you know, vlog channels that have kids featured in the video. This is to try and protect kids from attracting other kids, I suppose. I'm not really sure. I'm not even sure how this works exactly. But other language, like, you know, whether or not, you know, you have a product or something that's in the video which is aimed at kids. I mean, I review, you know, I review toys like you know, like collectibles for adults. You know, I don't really review anything which is specifically aimed at children. You know, once in a while, I guess I'll talk about my trip to a toy collecting convention and how I picked up Battle Cat from the Masters Universe 1985. And, you know, is that going to be, you know, seen as something where I'm talking about kids' toys? Like, yes, it was a kid's toy in 1985, but I don't think any children really are looking forward to the new He-Man cartoon that's coming out on Netflix, you know, by Kevin Smith. I really don't think that's what this law is intended to do. And this is what's scary. It's just, it's an incredibly scary time right now, because the looming threat of creating videos or not labeling your videos properly and making that one mistake could land you in a lot of trouble. And, you know, this is the problem, because the language is just so vague. A lot of us just don't know what to do, and we don't know what to expect. So we're all just basically bracing and preparing for what's going to happen next. But one of the channels who spoke out is one that I follow very, very closely. And you know what? I really admire this channel. You know, Michael Mercy, fellow Canadian, you know, fellow Ontarian. And he, I think, said it best. He has, and again, I'm not quoting him. Please go watch his video. I'm going to put links in the description below for all the people I've mentioned, all of the COPPA, you know, videos that they've talked about, and a lot of things that I'm going to talk about right now. But Michael made a very good point. He mentioned that we don't know what's happening right now. Everyone's sort of just freaking out, and we need to take a step back and wait. The reason we need to do this is because things change minute to minute, day to day. We don't know what's going to happen next. So it's better just to take a breather, relax, and up until December, you know, the end of December, the beginning of January, there's going to be more news to come out. You know, the FTC is going to start talking more. There are things which are happening in place, which I want to talk about soon. And we all need to just take a step back and just wait. As I said, nothing's for certain right now. So Michael, I think, has the right idea. We need to basically just continue making our videos, continue the passions that we all have, and continue doing what we can. And one of the things that we can do is we can speak out. We can actually have our voices heard. And there have been a lot of videos on this. A whole bunch of YouTube lawyers, you know, I can't come up with the top of my head. I'm going to leave links to the description below. You guys can watch all these videos. They explain, along with other YouTubers that I've mentioned already, they explain that there is a chance to do more. We can, as a matter of fact, speak out to the Federal Trade Commission. And this has to be done respectfully, and it has to be done, you know, the proper way. We can't just go out there and start blasting them with all of our anger, all of our outrage, all of our desperation. We need to be professional about this. We need to really have a voice. So there's a link which I will leave in the description below where everyone can actually give feedback to the FTC. They've opened up a page on their website which is allowing the public to actually speak out about this situation and what everyone thinks. And this is the biggest thing that I think we can all do. We can all actually, try to enact change in the way we can do it. A lot of people have also mentioned that there is a petition to, have the law looked at again. And I believe that's on change.org, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I will be leaving all the links in the description below. Please click on that, sign the petition. This is the correct way of doing things. It's the way we should all be doing this. The proper channels with clear heads. I think that's really the biggest thing that we can do. As I said, there's going to be a lot of videos I'm going to be linking to. And one thing I want to make absolutely clear, after watching Shartimus Prime's video, I think he hits a lot of great points, and I really do encourage everyone to watch his video. He actually breaks down, now he clearly states that he's not a lawyer, but he really breaks it down concisely and very analytically what happened in the press conference, what happened in the actual write-up and the documentation of the FTC, and he actually brings up a few good points. Firstly, everyone's freaking out about this big gigantic number, which is $42,000 per video. What everyone keeps forgetting, as Shartimus Prime pointed out, is it's actually, the wording is up to $42,000. So, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, again, we have to look at this again, but it is on a gradual scale. So basically, if you're making your living off of YouTube, unfortunately, it's probably going to be the case that those people will be looked at a little bit more, closely, and they might be fined. If found in violation, again, if found in violation, they can be fined much higher, upwards of $42,000, which is scary. But for smaller channels who don't make as much money on YouTube, it's probably going to come down to warnings and, several $100s in fines, things like that, which is still a significant amount of money, for someone who just doesn't make a living off YouTube. So we all have to govern ourselves accordingly, and we do have to decide and go through our catalog of videos and be very, very precise and very, very accurate as to using your own judgment. What is it that your video is trying to present? Are you presenting it strictly for adult collectors? Or is there a connotation that, and I think that I'm not gonna come out and say that any of my videos are actually for kids, but there might be a chance that someone looking at my video, and not a YouTube bot anymore, but somebody from the FTC who's going to be, being a very critical eye on my video, might look at a video like Dr. Snuggles, for example, and perhaps a phrase that I used that suggests that, parents should look at this as a great way to get kids into cartoons or something of that nature. Maybe that could be construed as a suggestion that it's for kids. And that scares me. That really, really scares me. So I have to take a hard look at my catalog and see, specifically my retro reviews of, some of my favorite cartoons. And I really have to decide whether or not, they are for kids, or not that they are for kids, but whether they can be construed as being aimed towards children. This is a very uncertain time, and I think that at the end of the day, we all have to talk about this. It's extremely important that we all understand what's going on, and we do have a voice. Everyone here on YouTube is able to speak out, and I think that it's another knee-jerk reaction kind of situation where, someone said something, accused somebody else of something else, they were found, to be in violation of something, and in order to get in line with compliance, YouTube decided that, they have to basically push it onto the content creators. And, I think there's a little bit of undue anger. Maybe a little bit is justified, but a lot of the anger towards YouTube, I think, is a little unwarranted. Again, Michael Mercy said it best. We do have to take a step back, take a breath, and look at the situation we have right now. Unfortunately, this is the way it's going to be. I don't think YouTube is going to change what's happening right now on their end. I think that they feel they have to protect themselves somehow. And you know what? I'm not sure that any one of us in this, if we were put in a situation like this, wouldn't be thinking the same thing. How they've gone about it, maybe it's a bit extreme. I think somebody mentioned that, not paraphrasing here, and probably I'm misquoting somebody here, but I think somebody said or likened it to, instead of using a scalpel to fix a very delicate problem, they're using a sledgehammer. And I can see where that analogy comes from. I'm not 100% on board with that analogy, but I do feel that it's my feeling that YouTube is not handling this the best way. But unfortunately, these are the cards that we're being dealt with, and we just have to roll with the punches, unfortunately, as creators. Again, for all my followers and everyone who's helping me support me through this journey and through this channel, first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. I really love each and every one of you. You guys mean the world to me. I don't think I say that enough, but it's true. I may not have 100,000 followers. I only have a few followers, really, but every single one of you guys, every single time somebody subscribes, every single time somebody chooses to watch my video, it just means so much to me. And I want to continue doing this. I want to continue sharing, my nostalgia, my memories, my love for cartoons and toys and video games and movies and animation and everything. And I don't want that to stop. So in order for that to happen, we need your help. The retro community, the nostalgia community, the video game community, all of us need your help. Please, please take a look at the documentation that we've talked about. Watch all these videos of the other YouTubers who I just mentioned. Click on the link to make your presence known. Like let the FTC know what you're thinking. And then click on the petition to get them to look at this again. Please. This is extremely important in this time. Not enough people are talking about this, and it's up to us to protect what we have left, especially since this is, in some cases, people's lives. People's livelihood are at stake. $42,000 per episode, that's life-changing. It's something which people will never recover from. And, it really is up to us, to make sure that people understand what's happening. It's hard, it really is hard. I don't want to talk about things like this, and don't think anybody really wants to, but we have to. We have to bring awareness to as many people as possible and try as much as we can. As some of the YouTube lawyers on YouTube have said, we can make a difference. We can actually help to shape the way this law is actually affecting others. So why wouldn't we? We need to actually make a difference. Yeah, I didn't think, oh boy, I didn't think this video was going to go on this long. I was hoping to make this shorter. On my side, what is the future of this channel? Again, I've gone on so many different tangents. As I said, thank you. First and foremost, again, thank you for everyone who's followed me and helped me along this journey. You guys do mean the world to me. But this channel, it's going to go through a few changes. Unlike before, where I could just pick a topic and run with it and just have as much fun as I could with it, trying to remember all the stuff that I had, memories that I used to do, some of the things that I used to play with, things like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to be more careful on how I present those things. I'm going to have to look with a more critical eye on my own and say whether or not, this is something which can be thought of as for children. I think my toy reviews are safe. I think that I might start putting small captions at the beginning of my videos which say that this is an adult collectible meant for adults and that this is not intended for children. I think that's the only way going forward how we can, in the collector community and the nostalgia and toy community, collecting community, I think that's something we should all think about doing. I'm going to take that step and start doing that. In the next 2 months, though, while I still have time to do whatever or however I feel I should make these videos, I'm going to be careful about what I'm posting. But at the same time, I'm still going to be as passionate and as dedicated to what I want to do. And you know, I've got lots of great reviews coming up. I've already got a whole bunch of them already uploaded onto YouTube. I just haven't released them yet. I just showed it, kind of a little tiny teaser. You know, Skeletor from Filmation. I'm going to be doing a review on him, He-Man, She-Ra. Oh my gosh, some of the greatest toys I've ever collected. You know, and the loves of my life in terms of like cartoons. I'm still going to keep going with that. I want to get into Thundercats. I want to get into, oh God, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have so many things I want to talk about, and I don't want this to have to stop. So my plans right now for the channel are to continue and perhaps have some disclaimers up, really make it clear that what I'm doing is for adult collectors and nostalgia. There has been a suggestion that people can move to Patreon. As everyone knows, I do have a Patreon account. And I've been encouraging people to go check it out, you know, but truthfully, because I'm not 100% sure how it works, I haven't been paying attention to it much myself. But I think only because of what's been going on, I do have to sort of nudge people in the direction of, you know, please visit my Patreon account and, you know, check it out at least. You know, I think that a lot of other creators are going to start pushing people towards their Patrons as well. I'm not quoting anybody. I'm not saying that that's actually what's going to happen, but I think now in this uncertain time, places like Patreon are places where we can still express ourselves, and people can choose to support us there. And every little bit counts. You know, I don't talk about this enough really, but all the equipment that I own, you know, it does break down. You know, I've been using the same camera for the last 6 years. My lights, half the time I just use the sunlight. I don't know if a lot of you have realized that yet, but that's the truth. You know, 2 of my tripods have broken in already. They've kind of, the legs don't work anymore. You know, there's every little bit counts in terms of, like, you know, trying to get new episodes and produced and everything like that. I think the best example is that you guys are enjoying the videos, and thank you so much for doing that. But for every 10 minutes of video that you guys get to watch, it's literally 20 or 30 hours of work that gets put into that just to produce, you know, 2 or 3 videos at a time. So this is, you know, a labor of love, but at the same time, it can get daunting, and it does get expensive. I mean, you know, the toys that I have to purchase for reviews, you know, the kind of lighting equipment, audio visual, things like that, you know, they take their toll. And again, I'm pretty sure no creator has ever said, you know, please, you know, you have to support me. No, it's all voluntary. If you guys feel that what we do is, you know, important to you and you know, it has value to you, then it would mean the world to us if you know, would support us in that manner. But of course, your situation. If you can't support on that level, then the best thing that you can do, the absolute best thing you can do, is like, share, and tell everybody about, you know, the channel and just watching the videos. For us, that means more than anything. The fact that anyone would actually watch my videos is something I never thought would happen. Also, commenting, letting me know what it is you guys want to watch, that means the world to me too. You know, I've gotten some great suggestions, and I am getting to them. I can. But I have this progression that I really want to do, and I really want to, you know, go on that tangent. But anyone who wants a video made, you know, please let me know. I'm going to get to them as soon as I can. Maybe if, you know, there's enough interest on Patreon, maybe I can do something where, you know, if someone wants to sponsor a video, and you know, if it reaches enough support, I can actually do a specific video for, you know, a choice, if you will, and, you know, reward tiers on things like that. Again, all voluntary. I don't expect anything from anybody. I don't want to ask anybody for anything, but these times are so uncertain, and I really don't know where we're going to go next with this. Anyway, I want to close in saying one more time with a sincere appeal to everyone: to please, please, please go to the links that I have linked below. It's incredibly important right now that we tell the FTC and drive the point home that we think that this law needs to be re-examined, needs to be looked at again, and that in many ways it's just not serving the needs of the people who are reliant on this particular medium. Whether it is for mental health's sake, because making videos makes people feel good, or whether it's because some people rely on this for an actual income, or whether it's because people who are making videos just want to make them and they don't want to be punished for something that really isn't their fault. You know, I don't think anybody actually, well, true creators and true people who believe in and love nostalgia and collecting, I don't think any of them is looking to sell a product to a kid or incentivize a kid to go buy, you know, a 13-year-old or in some cases 25 to 30-year-old toy. I really don't think that's the way it works. I really think that all of us here who are watching guys like Pixel Dan, people like Laura Legends, you know, amazing individuals like Michael Mercy, the Happy Console Gamer, Pat the NES Punk, all these great retro channels and video game channels, collecting channels, I don't want to see these things go away. You know, just because something in their videos could possibly appeal to kids. We have to take a real hard look at what's going on, and we need everyone to be aware of what's happening. I implore you, sincerely, to take a look at what's happening. Like and share any video you see about COPPA and about the FTC and about what's happening, and help everyone to direct to the right locations where they can give their opinions to the FTC and actually sign petitions that say that they should be looking and re-examining this particular law. Between the FTC and YouTube, we can make a difference, and it's up to us to make sure that everyone knows about it. Guys, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, as always, for watching this video. It would mean the world to me if you would look at the links in the description below and make your voices heard. Thank you again for supporting all of us in the retro collecting, nostalgia, video game, and really any geek related videos. It really means the world to us that you guys watch and like and subscribe to our videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Geek proud.